frolic bringing. Just once a year I visit you to cheer you with my singing. La 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 la. Verse 3. Hurrah, Purim, we love your merry drumming. And if we had our way, Purim, each month you would be coming. La 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 la. Well, let's just start over. Let's do it one more time. That one we were getting used to it. Now we know it. Let's do it. From the top. Ani Purim, Sameach U'Badeach. Halo rak pa'am bashana avo le'itareach. La 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 la. My name is Purim and I come great fun and frolic bringing. Just once a year I visit, cheer you with my singing. La 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 la. Hurrah Purim, we love your merry drumming. And if we had our way, Purim, each month you would be coming. La 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 la. Okay, moving on. This one is the exact same melody that we're gonna sing through probably 2 or 3 times. Might play with the speed a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. Chag Purim, Chag Gadol U'Layudim, Masechot Rashanim, Zimrot Rikudim, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Bara Ashanim. Chag Purim, Chag Gadol U'Layudim, Masechot Rashanim, Zimrot Rikudim, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Bara Ashanim. Let's speed it up a little bit. Chag Purim, Chag Gadol U'Layudim, Masechot Rashanim, Zimrot Rikudim, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Bara Ashanim. Slow it down a little. Chag Purim, Chag Gadol U'Layudim, Masechot Rashanim, Zimrot Rikudim, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Bara Ashanim. One more time, just the normal speed. Chag Purim, Chag Gadol U'Layudim, Masechot Rashanim, Zimrot Rikudim, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Havana Risha, Rush, Bara Ashanim.
Beautiful singing. And if we aren't familiar with a rashan is the word for a noisemaker. So I don't know if any of you all have your groggers, but I know that as we go through this, if you want to shake your grogger when you hear the name, anyone know? The name of Haman, that's when we're going to go ahead and do that. So whether it is your grogger that you're using, or if you have something on your phone that makes the sound of a grogger, that works great. We're going to begin. So hopefully you know how to use hopefully you know how to use Zoom. And if you can, we'd like to have everybody muted while we do this. You should be able to see everyone through the spotlighted video in front of you. So welcome and Chag Purim Sameach to you all. We're going to begin, I believe, with our blessings for reading the Megillah. Rabbi Sobo? I need to be able to see that. Please join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. We continue with our celebration being an opportunity to recognize that we've come to this wonderful moment where we can fulfill this mitzvah. As we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavotenu v'imotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Thank you, God, for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this season, this moment, as we together observe this holiday of Purim. So again, welcome. Tonight, we have a sacred duty to fulfill, a semi-serious story to state a tortuous tale of treachery and tradition to tell. And we will need your help to make this happen. At predetermined points in the story, the action will stop and you will determine the course of the scene. Each option is distinct in its dialogue, specific in its statements, and particular in its points.
Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce one of the protagonists of our play, Mordechai.
You're going to let them choose which way the story goes. They get to choose from a few options how each scene is going to end?
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. The story is written in the Bible. You can't just change the ending. What if they decide that Haman gets to win? Or if the king decides to marry someone other than Esther? It'd be mayhem. Not to mention the whole point of coming here is to hear the tale as it was written 2,000 years ago.
You make a fair point, but don't worry. No decisions they make will change the course of our tale. Still, the Bible leaves much of the story open to interpretation. Why does the king choose Esther? And how does Esther feel about being chosen? These are important questions if we're to understand this Megillah. And that's what our guests this evening will determine.
I'm not sure I get it, but okay, let's see how this goes.
Just hang on tight and I'll show you what I mean. Once upon a time, there was a king named Ahasuerus.
Hello.
Ahasuerus ruled a kingdom that stretched from India to Ethiopia and was rich beyond all your wildest dreams. Rich as Rockefeller, rich as Roosevelt. That's a little too old school, but he was like Mark Zuckerberg, but less Jewish.
Like they say, it's good to be me. Anyway, I was throwing this party.
Yeah, about 6 months long.
Well, it was a really good party. We were basically celebrating how great it is to be me, and I got to tell you, it's pretty great to be me. Anyway, we got to the end of 6 months, and I felt like the palace staff had done a great job with this whole half-a-year party thing, so I decided to whip together another week of celebrations just for the people in the palace. And at the same time, Queen Vashti, that's my wife over there. Say hello, dear.
Hello, everyone.
Queen Vashti threw a party for her ladies-in-waiting. So we have this extra week to party, and I decided it's time to go all out with like crazy amounts of drinking. I'll be honest, I was totally verstinkered myself. We get to literally the last day, and I think to myself, you know what? I haven't seen Vashti in like forever. And I have this idea, and I'm like, let's bring her over to our party.
Now, hold on a moment, King. Here's where we show everyone how this works. You see, the king is about to order Vashti to join this party. How do you think Ahasuerus felt in this moment? Remember, the option you choose will determine the end of the scene. You're going to have the opportunity now to vote for option A or option B in front of you.
Hello. Can you hear me? May I vote? I think I'm going to choose. Oh, I can click it? I can't click it. I'm clicking it. I have an
Highlight
iPad.
it. Highlight it.
Okay, maybe the extra week of partying was a bad idea. My head is absolutely killing me. My mouth feels like it's stuffed with cotton. Too many Hamantash and cocktails for sure. Oh, this is so boring. Hey, somebody entertain me. Where are my advisors? Where's my wife?
Yes, my king.
Entertain me.
Excuse me.
My head is pounding and I'm irritable and bored, and I'm pretty sure it's all your fault.
Why is it my fault? I haven't seen you in 6 months.
I am the king. If I say it's your fault, then it is. It's called a royal decree. I hereby decree this is all Washington's fault.
Look, you're drunk and this is gross. I am not going to put on a show for you and all these people.
No one says no to the king.
Well, I just did.
Well, that's it. You're done as queen.
Whatever.
I hereby decree you're ugly and your mother dresses you funny. Ugh.
And so King Ahasuerus finds himself without a queen, desperately lonely, bereft over Vashti's absence, longing for a true partner.
Honestly, I was good with it for a while. Then it got boring. Vashti was a real pain in the toughest, but she was an excellent bridge player.
You are quite the romantic, Your Highness.
Anyway, I couldn't exactly invite her back. I mean, she deserved banishment. She straight up refused to follow my command. I am the king. First, one person denies me, and then it's chaos in the streets.
And so an edict was put out by the king's ministers, ordering every eligible young maiden to come to Shushan to have a private interview with the king. The one who most pleased the king would become the new queen. Among the maidens was a young Jewish girl named Hadassah.
Actually, my name is Esther.
But it says your name is Hadassah in my script. Maybe actually it says Hadassah and Esther, which is weird. Can you have two names?
Well, don't you?
No.
Don't you have an English name and a Hebrew name? The two names reflecting your two heritages?
Oh yeah, I guess I do.
But do me a favor. Let's, not make a whole big point of my, being Jewish thing. Mordechai says I should really keep that on the DL. Persia's a tolerant country and all, at least I grew up thinking that was the case, but I'm still not sure the country's ready for a Jewish woman running the place.
Gotcha. Anyway, Esther here is an orphan raised by her cousin Mordecai. She goes to the palace with all the other young women, spending a full year preparing for her meeting with the king.
And not a book of crossword puzzles in sight. Man, that was a dull year.
But finally, the time comes for Esther to meet with King Ahasuerus. Let's take a vote. How does Esther feel about meeting the king? Go ahead and place your vote in there now. Oh, it's almost a tie. Got to get a few more votes in there. We need to know where we're going.
Been widely reported that the problem that Trump and Trump's businesses have is that
Here's the Okay, so I think we are at 52%, for Esther was angry at being forced to come to the palace and audition to be the queen. All right.
Well, hello. Welcome to the palace. And your name is?
Esther.
Esther, yes. Wonderful. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Look, can we skip the small talk? This whole process is demeaning and ridiculous, and we both know you're not looking for someone who can keep up a conversation.
Okay, fine. Here's the deal. It's been 4 years since I kicked Vashti to the curb, and I guess everyone expects a king to have a queen, so, well, here we are. And now I've been meeting woman after woman for what feels like years, looking for that certain someone. It's been one Ugo after another until today. Until you.
My, you're a charmer. You really know how to sweet talk a girl.
I'm the king. I don't need to sweet talk.
You're a pig.
Well, congratulations, because now you're the sow.
No, wrong space. And so Esther became queen of all Persia. But still, she hid the fact that she was Jewish, as Mordecai had instructed her. Mordecai, for his part, eagerly sought news about her life in the palace. Since all this happened, before Instagram, he was forced to hang out by the palace gates to even just catch a glimpse of her.
Here I am, just hanging out. Excuse me, narrator, but you seem to know what's going around here. Do you know how long I have to sit here before something happens?
5 years.
5 years? Seriously? I might just go ahead and invent the newspaper so I have something to read.
5 years pass, and one day the king promotes one of his many advisors to the office of prime minister, placing him above all others in power and authority. The prime minister's name is Haman. The king even decreed that everyone had to bow down to Haman whenever he passed by. It'd be great if we could hear Haman.
There we go. Someone muted me and I forgot to unmute myself. People for years have been trying to mute me. Anyway, so that was the best. To be fair, the king didn't really decree anything. I mean, I kind of asked him if I could borrow some official kingdom letterhead, and then casually commented on how shiny his signet ring was, and oh, could I take a look at that? And then boom, signed a decree saying everyone had to bow down to me. Oh man, is he a dummy.
One day, as Haman and his henchmen were leaving the palace, he happened to notice a man sitting outside the palace gates. When everyone else bowed to Haman as the law required, this one man stayed seated and never even looked his way.
What a burn. Hey, Hugh, what's your deal?
My deal? What's your deal? Why are you so special that everyone has to bow?
I'm the second most important person in the kingdom. Literally, only the king is more powerful than me.
Sorry to be the one to break it to you, but vice president is more of a figurehead position. You're like the Dan Quayle of the Bible.
I'm not vice president. I'm prime minister.
Either way, I'm Jewish, and we don't bow to anybody. It's like a thing. Now, you'll have to excuse me. I've been sitting here for literally 5 years. And all this excitement has my back cramping like you would not believe.
How dare he call me the Dan Quayle of the Bible? If anything, I'm the Dick Cheney of the Bible. Excuse me, Your Highness? Your Majesty?
Quiet. I'm doing very important things.
Are you playing Angry Birds again?
Yes, and it's very important. What do you want?
Well, I'd like to use your royal authority to start a war that I'll secretly manage on your behalf, but leave you, the figurehead, responsible for its outcome.
Oh, you want to pull a Dick Cheney?
Yes, exactly. I just need your permission to draft the decree.
Whatever. Do I want to know more details?
No.
Sounds good.
And so Haman issued a decree with the king's authority that all the Jews in the entire Persian Empire shall be destroyed, killed, and wiped out in the coming days. When Mordecai learned of the decree, he put on sackcloth and rubbed ashes in his hair and the traditional sign of mourning. But because he was dressed so shabbily, he couldn't enter the court to talk with Esther about the decree. The queen's maidservant saw Mordecai outside the gate and told her that her foster father was out there waiting for her, wailing and singing sad songs. But Esther refused to come out to talk with him. Why do you think she didn't come out? Go ahead and take your answer to the poll. Oh, it's evening out. There's no idea where this is going to go. Put in your votes, people. I can't wait to find out what happens next. Rabbi Sobo, how much time do we have left to put your answer in? We have 23 out of 32 people who voted. All right, it looks like Esther was following the rules. She tried to convince Mordecai to come talk to her, but he insisted on making a public spectacle of himself. She would just have to come out if she should, or if she could. And so Esther sent her servant to try and convince Mordecai to change his clothes so they could meet and figure out how to save the Jews.
Mordecai, dude, you stink.
I am fasting and wailing on behalf of my people. This is what Jews do when we are in mourning.
No. I got that part. I mean, you smell really bad. Have you bathed recently?
How come Esther didn't come out here herself?
She's got other royal responsibilities, but she asked me to bring you a change of clothes. If you just change, then you can come into the palace and she can find some time to see you.
This is my place. I'm trying to raise awareness of our plight. I won't change and I won't leave. Now go and tell my cousin that she has to do something to save us.
Well, she's the queen. I'm a servant. I really can't demand anything that she does.
Well, then give her a copy of Haman's decree. It's posted all over the place. And tell her it will be the death of all the Jews.
Okie dokie.
And so Hatak took the decree to Esther, and the next day returned to Mordecai.
Hello again, Mordecai.
So, is she going to help?
The queen has asked me to point out that she can't just walk up to the king and demand change. First off, there is a rule that no one enters the king's presence without an invitation. And if you do, you get killed. She begs you to just get dressed in some nicer clothes and come inside. Then you can help her figure out a way to save the Jews.
She's the queen. If she can't convince the king to cancel the decree, what good can I do? You tell her that if she thinks no one in this place will find out she's Jewish, she's fooling herself. She is just as much at risk as anyone else. This is her moment to shine. Now, go back to Queen Esther and tell her all I've said.
Well, I'm definitely going to hit my 10,000 steps today.
That's only fair. And Esther read the decree and heard all about the conversation that her servant had had with Mordecai. Overwhelmed by the responsibility on her shoulders, she nonetheless took to heart Mordecai's words and came up with a plan to save the Jews. But first, she had to get the king's attention. But nothing was working. So Esther dressed up in her finest clothes and stood in the doorway to the king's throne room until she caught his attention.
Esther, I didn't see you there.
My king, I have one small eensy-weensy request.
Oh, now what?
My king, would you do me the honor of joining me tonight at a feast that I have prepared in your honor?
Oh, a feast!
And I'd so appreciate it if Haman could be there too.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
That night, King Ahasuerus, Queen Esther, and Haman sit down for the dinner that the queen has prepared.
Oh, what a fabulous feast you have prepared. I am absolutely stuffed.
Truly a phenomenal evening, my queen.
I do it all to honor my king.
Well, I think this deserves a reward. What can I get you, Esther? Anything you want. Even if it's half my kingdom, it shall be yours.
Your Majesty, the only thing I could possibly ask for is the privilege of your company again tomorrow night.
Oh, another feast?
This time, a wine banquet.
Ooh, it's like a banquet, but with wine.
And Haman, I would be honored if you would join us again.
Wine banquet? Wine banquet? I'm very much looking forward to it.
Men.
And so the queen prepared a second banquet to honor the king.
More wine?
Why, thank you. What a tremendous evening, my queen. I'm feeling generous today. Oh, I have an idea. I'll get your likeness tattooed on my face.
Well, that's quite generous of you. I really only have one request.
Oh, name it, anything you want, even up to half my kingdom, and it's yours.
All I want is for you to save my life.
Didn't I already kind of do that when I married you?
My king, someone has threatened my people with destruction.
Who would do such a thing?
Haman,
What? I didn't do anything.
you have threatened my people with destruction. Oh, King Ahasuerus, please save us.
Of course I will. One question though. Who are your people?
Well, I'm Jewish.
Uh-huh. Did I know that?
Does it matter?
No, well, kinda. I just need a minute to think about it.
You need a minute?
I'll be right back.
And so the king stepped out into the garden to gather his admittedly callow and selfish thoughts. And Haman, in his terror, goes to beg Queen Esther for mercy. What does Haman say to try and convince Queen Esther to spare his life? Did he say, whoops? Or I meant to do it, but now I realize the error of my ways? Or look out, bears? All right, we have a clear winner on this one.
Well, Haman, what do you have to say for yourself?
Look out! Bears!
Bears? What bears?
Ah! Down, Ursula!
Wait a minute. This is ridiculous, even for Purim. So all you dead people, come on and get up, because we are not ending our spiel with fatal teddy bear attacks. Okay, now let's get back on track.
So does this mean I get to live?
Nope. According to the Bible, we killed you, so you can get lost.
Aww.
Does this mean I finally have to learn basic decency and moral behavior?
Nope. You are still the king.
Works for me.
And with Haman defeated, Esther was given all of Haman's possessions and all his wealth.
Cool.
And Mordecai was named prime minister, second only to the king in power and authority.
Sweet.
And from that day forward, the Jews had light and joy, gladness and honor, and a day of celebration was declared for all time, that on the very day that Haman had planned to slaughter the Jews, they had feasted instead of famine, parties instead of plotting, merriment instead of murder, and the holiday of Purim was created.
Is that it?
Yeah, we're done. That is the whole story.
So what are we supposed to do now?
That's a good question. Let's ask the audience. How should we end the spiel? Should the cast take a bow? Should everyone eat a Hamantaschen? Or should we do a dance party? And there we have it. At 50%, we are going to have a dance party. Woo! So I think we should have Grant play for us one more song, and we can all get up and break if we would like to.
Here we go. Oh, once there was a wicked, wicked man, and Haman was his name, sir. He lied and lied about the Jews, though they were not to blame, sir. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nashim, and Tashin, and Esther was the lovely queen of King Ahasuerus. When Haman said he'd hurt us all, oh my, how he did scare us. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nashim, and Tashin, and Esther had a cousin, and his name was Mordecai. He asked her, can you help us? And she said, of course I'll try. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nashim, and Tashin, when Esther speaking to the king of Haman's plot made mention. Aha, he said, oh no he won't, I'll spoil his bad intention. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nashim, and Tashin, in spite of Haman's awful plan and the scare he gave us, Esther was so brave and strong, she knew just how to save us. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nashim, and Tashin, so Haman got his just desserts, and we had won the day. And Esther we will never forget, and on this day we say, oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nashim, and Tash. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. Oh, today will Mary, Mary be. And Nashim, and Tash.
Wonderful. Oh, that was a great dance party. Thank you. So now I think it is time for all of us to share our costumes. I believe it is that time. Some of you already have your costumes on. If you have yourselves hidden, you can feel free to make yourself be seen. And I think that all of us up here are going to go ahead and put on our costumes as well.